Hey, I'm Rukanova, and I started this nostalgic game series because every once in a while when you find an old game you really liked and you spent your childhood or when you were a teenager or ever playing it, you get that fuzzy feeling inside and you just want to talk about it. And to illustrate that example, just the other day I was speaking to a friend about Contra on hard mode and how it was impossible to beat without the codes. I mean, nobody beats that thing on hard mode unless he's using the codes, right? So I prepared the first few games. I personally experienced with them and feel a bit nostalgic with them, and I hope some of you will feel the same way. Warcraft 2: Tides of Darkness. I have to say, Dune was my first real-time strategy game, but Warcraft 2 was the first big one for me. I mean, everything felt so epic. It had a setting of epicness and the novelty of pressing a ship till it dies and it explodes in blood and groins and bones. Just so gratifying. Then you would catch the peons or the peasants depending on the race you would choose, and you would send them to cut down trees and they would leave a huge forest of stumps in their wake. And if you chose the humans, you would hear "The orcs are approaching" when they were approaching. And the humor of clicking units repeatedly, they would say "stop bugging me" and things like that. And if you owned the demo version, if you clicked units a lot of times, they would end up saying "buy the real version." And it's something, it was new. And Dune was a great game, and a good precursor, but the magical setting, the bloodlust, the creatures, the dungeons and the questing, everything felt right. And that's what makes Warcraft 2 one of my favorite RTSers of all time. Now I could cut the video short, but I think you deserve to see the rest.
United in arms with new allies against a common foe, mankind stands at the shores of destiny and awaits the coming of the Tides of Darkness.
Nights into Dreams. Now, the fun thing about Nights into Dreams is I really can't point out what made it so special. Maybe it was just because I played it when I was young. First things first, I do remember throwing a boss around, a fat boss around. That was insanely great. The fun of flying around was also a factor because Nights had a 3D view of sorts. It wasn't perfect, but it was the 3D we had at the time. Kind of like Pandemonium, which was also a great game. And the childhood setting of Nights into Dreams makes it really worthwhile. Then there was the precursor of the chaos system from Sonic the Hedgehog, which was the A-Life. And in the A-Life you could raise little critters. It was not on the main quest or on the main game per se, but it would work. And you would cross them with the bad critters and create a mixed breed, and it was nice. Star Fox 64. From the technical standpoint, the gameplay was like Panzer Dragoon. But the thing is, you would be flying with your friends. They would radio in for help, some early, like Sleepy. Sleepy asks for help half a second into the game. And the goat, I don't remember the name, I think it was Peppy, I think Peppy, would say, "Do a barrel roll!" And that phrase was legendary and marked through all eternity. And the thing is, the maneuvers were nice, and it had a badnik called Star Wolf, and he was always, "I'm afraid I can't let you do that, Star Fox." I'm sure you guys remember, it was out of the frying pan into the freezer all the time. Anyways, I remember playing this hours on end, and there was a certain boss I remember that would allow you to make an option of attacking him or trusting him. And I don't know why, but I really fixated that. I think it was when I realized games like this could have choices too. Wait a minute, fixated? Is that a word? I think not. Well, never mind, I'm not English, so suck it. Team Hospital. Just thinking about Team Hospital makes me go, drugs are required in pharmacy, less required in war. The treatments were so random. There was the bloat head clinic. The patients would have a head like a balloon. They would enter, the doctor would pop them out with a needle, then fill it back up with an air pump. It was some crazy shit. Then you would have to hire handymen and hire lots of handymen because patients would vomit all over your hallways and they would spread litter, and then the VIPs would come and visit. There were those emergencies you had to take care of, or the patients would die in the hallways. But measuring up itself, bear with me, I'm really trying to be fluent in English. Just listen to the music. It brings back memories, doesn't it? Croc, for the Sega Saturn or PlayStation. In this video, it was Croc's intro, and it shows how Croc was raised by Gobo creatures. Well, at the end of this video we'll see the Gobo creatures being captured by the main antagonist of the series. And the goal of the game is to save the Gobo King, and on the way you would save and collect every Gobo creature, catch all the jigsaw puzzle pieces and the colored crystals. So there were 3 collectible elements to find. At some point there was a boxing ladybug level which was an amazing boss, and I just loved to clear that boss. There were some high points, of course. There were some pits. Some would have jello you could jump on, the others would have worms, carnivore worms that would try to get the bites out of you. And the laugh of the bad guys' minions was amazing too. It was like so the minions I was talking about, you noticed them? And the big guy is the main boss. And now the Go-Go's are going to play the gong to save Croc, and then they are going to be captured. Another platformer, Crash Bandicoot. Crash Bandicoot's new 3D-like perspective was colorful, and the fun setting just made it. To this date, I still don't know what the protector says, and according to the internet, nobody knows.
But Dr. Cortex, we have not determined the cause of past failures. Moron! This Bandicoot will be my general, and he will lead my...
With a new perspective, the game was bringing something new, and I just remember spinning on TNT and Nitro hours on end. Another thing I noticed were some odd moments, like Crash would shoot fruits at fruits to get fruit, and he would stop villains from messing up time and steal dives just by touching a goat.
Failure again! Capture him!
Uh-oh.
Prepare the female Bandicoot.
Final Fantasy VII. Now, let me get this out of the way quick, because I know all of you want to see the video. First, gotta talk about immersion. Final Fantasy VII just did it. Second, you're going to be passionate for what happens. Third, Sephiroth. Fourth, badass concepts mixed with sad spins. Fifth, naming Ares the name of your crush. Sixth, this is cloud-based gaming. 7. Finding materia, characters and secrets. And 8. Everyone wishes for a sequel. Now I'll see the rest of the video because I know you like it, just as I do. See Tekken 3. As far as fighting games are concerned, I only have two names in my mind right now, and they are Street Fighter and Tekken 3. I remember watching my friend playing Yoshimitsu and wishing I could play so great as he did. But I really enjoyed Eddie, as the capoeira style fight scene is really attractive. But of course, who could forget the amazing suplexes of King, or pulse punch, or pressing all the buttons at the same time to make the gloves light up and hit harder. Those were some things you can't forget. Golden Axe. Golden Axe was one of the first games I ever played. And it's a fact, 90% of people always choose the Dwarven Axeman. And I dare you to say you weren't the Dwarven Axeman in the comment section. Well, some things to point out: the annoying potion imps, the delicious green imps, the animals you could ride, the giant oversized bosses, and the fact that rumor has it, Golden Axe was voiced by death row prisoners. This was a great game, and alongside with Double Dragon it was a side-scroller beat-em-up that would stay on your memories for times to come. Okay, enough retro for you? Now, let's proceed to the game you will find the most nostalgic. The first game you ever played. The first game you ever played is always going to have a special place in your heart. So I would ask you to comment below and tell me what was the first game you ever played. I'm going to do more videos on nostalgic games, and I want to get more ideas, so I'll consider the comments. So if you liked it, put a thumbs up and subscribe for more. Bye.